The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Well, welcome in, everybody. This is On Deck with Eric DeRo and Darren Archer. Darren, fall sports are in full swing. This week has been just a lot of fun to keep up with all the different sports and all the different things. I think fall sports and the start of school always brings a fresh sense of newness. Every program feels sort of revitalized and ready to go, and so to get all those sports started and kicked off. Pretty exciting week. And obviously we're focusing on the mostly on the college side, but high schools is right there too. And so what a great week.
It has been. There's a little bit of chill in the air, and it's been a little cooler. The weather's given us a break, and football is in full swing. First full week of football. Most colleges at each level, football season has started off, and then of course the other sports programs have been underway for a while. But great weekend for great week, obviously, if you're a sports fan. But great weekend of football.
For sure. Well, we'll start off with Mizzou. They were playing, at least on paper, a team that they should beat, and they did what they were supposed to do. A very convincing win for Mizzou. They just seemed to be confident, and the culture seems to have changed a little bit up there, and it just seems like Mizzou football's in a really good place right now.
Absolutely. They take on a good Buffalo team and win 38-0. And, a lot of the hype coming into this season has been behind the offense. But their defense has not given up a point in 2 games. And I don't care what level you're playing, who you're playing against at Division I level, to not give up, not allow any points throughout 2 games is a pretty major accomplishment.
For sure. And if I remember correctly, I think they have two more home games before they go on the road. So I think they have a chance to possibly be 4-0 before they hit the road. So
yeah, they'll be tested next week. Very good Boston College team coming to town, and they beat Florida State a couple of weekends ago, and so that'll be a good test for them leading into the SEC play.
yeah, and I believe they're already sold out up there, or anticipating a sellout, and so just a great environment right now. A good time to be a Missouri football sports fan for sure. Um, Locally, MSU, Missouri State, was in action last night. Suffered a loss at the hands of Ball State. Kind of an interesting game. Uh, Very few points scored in the first 3 quarters, and then I think the 2 teams combined for 48 points in the fourth quarter. But MSU just came up a little short.
They did. It was kind of a ho-hum game through 3 quarters, and then somebody unlocked the doors and let the dogs out, and man, it was up and down the field. But they face Lindenwood next week. Missouri State started off 0-2 on the season. They face Lindenwood, another in-state school, both Division I programs. So it'll be an interesting tussle against Lindenwood and Missouri State to see who can pick up their first win of the season.
Yeah, I think that's an intriguing matchup. They're both 0-2, but I think they both feel like they have more upside than what the record says. So it'll be a good matchup for those 2 teams. Central Missouri State at the Division II level. Played their first game yesterday, won in convincing fashion. It appears that their number 2 ranking in Division II seems to be justified.
Very well deserved, and they're hitting on all cylinders right out of the gate. They played a Northeastern State, Oklahoma team that Missouri Western, I believe, took on a week or two ago, and it was a very close game. So that could spell doom for for a lot of the schools in the MIAA, especially in-state schools.
For sure. Missouri Southern took on a really good Pitt State team at Missouri Southern yesterday, and Pitt State beat them on their home field. And it's hard to know whether it was just a down day for Missouri Southern or if Pitt State maybe just that good.
I would venture to say Pitt State's that good.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have to circle the date when Pitt State and Central Missouri are on the schedule, because that's going to be a clash for the ages. But until then, there's a lot of good teams in the MIAA, Northwest Missouri State included, but they've kind of got off to a slow start, and I'll let you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you and I referenced Northwest Missouri State last week, and again, MIAA and all those things. So you just never know. But they have started off 0-2. But there's just too much tradition and too many good things that happen at Northwest Missouri State for them not to be just considered a formidable opponent week in and week out. And so it remains to be seen, about Northwest Missouri State for sure.
Yeah, they've played a competitive programs up to this point, so they'll bounce back.
For sure.
Tradition will rear its face, and they'll be fine.
Yeah. Evangel moved their record to 2-0 yesterday. They're ranked top 15 nationally. Just seem to protect their home field, and seems like they're off to a good start as well.
Yeah, they will continue to get better as they continue play, and I just look for them to make some noise, definitely in the conference and even throughout postseason play. It's going to be interesting to watch that team develop some more as the season moves on, and they continue to get better.
Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, locally or in state, I saw where Missouri Baptist opened their season yesterday and got a win. So congratulations to Missouri Baptist. I think there were some other schools here in Missouri that played their first game of the season yesterday. So it's here. And I think, for coaches now it sort of changes. They've sort of been focusing on their own team and getting a feel for who they were. And now week in and week out, they sort of look outward instead of inward, and they sort of look for matchups that they like within a certain opponent, areas that they feel like they might be stronger, and weaknesses they have to hide, and all those things really start to sort of take place now in a different sense than what they've been doing in a training camp setting.
Absolutely, and you take a look at teams like Washington University. In Division III, they had a good opening weekend. Missouri Valley picked up a good win over a very good
Yes.
Graceland team. You mentioned Missouri Baptist. One program I want to give a shout out is William Woods. They've been taking it on the chin the past couple of weekends, but this is a first-year program. They just started the program up, and good for William Woods and providing another sports outlet for young men to be able to attend their university and compete in NAIA football.
Yeah, and you and I have been around athletics for a long time. Different shapes and size of the ball that we were using, but it seems to me that starting a football program takes a whole lot more patience, perhaps. There's just so many more things to consider. Just the sheer numbers that you're looking to recruit and build a team from, bigger coaching staff, facilities, and all those things. So yeah, for William Woods to take on that challenge and start a football program, that doesn't happen in a year or two. That is a designated sort of planned event within a university or college setting. And, you're looking at a 5-year window, 7-year window before things really become comfortable and natural, I believe.
Absolutely. Plus the fact that you're having to recruit against a lot of in-state schools at the NAIA level. So, and recruiting's the name of the game. You got to have the Jimmies and Joes to get the W's, and I just look for that program to continue to build. And like I said, awful glad to see football at William Woods.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to segue here in just a second. We've got an exciting interview coming up with a young running back from William Jewell. Had a big day a week or so ago, and Darren's going to have a chance to sit down and visit with him. And so we are looking forward in our next segment to hearing from Key McCullough, William Jewell running back. And Darren, I'll let you kind of fill us in before the break here on Key.
Yeah, Keith McCullough, senior running back for William Jewell, had 402 yards and 5 touchdowns in their season opener against Fort Lewis, and got to sit down and visit with him for a few minutes. And great football player, but even better young man. And we hope that you enjoy the interview.
Yeah, well, we're excited to hear from him. Seems like a really nice kid. I guess he's not a kid, but to you and I, he's a kid.
Exactly. Everybody's a kid to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think his interview is a real treat for us. So when we come back, check out his interview, and Darren does a nice job visiting with him. So stay tuned for the interview with Key McCullough right here on Deck with DeRo and Arch. We'll be back.
Hi, I'll have the avocado toast minus the avocado.
So, toast.
Yeah. Everything is so expensive these days.
Hey, Chevy gets it. That's why they're keeping prices down to earth, like on the most affordable EV in America. A super strong and capable Chevy truck.
And a high-tech Chevy SUV.
Why is Chevy making affordable vehicles connected by OnStar? It's so together we can do more.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
Hey, welcome back to On Deck with DeRo and Arch. We have a special guest, Key McCullough from William Jewell College, senior running back that had a career day in the opening weekend of football season. Key ran for 402 yards and had 5 touchdowns against Fort Lewis College in the opening weekend. Key, first of all, welcome to the show. Second of all, tell us about your career day.
All right, first of all, I just want to say thanks for having me on here. I really appreciate it. That day, it was kind of crazy. We had a long bus ride, so we was like traveling for 2 days. But that whole week, we prepped for them. We watched film. Coach put a nice game plan in. My whole line got out there blocking, creating big holes, and I just did what I had to do, running the ball, making people miss.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you scored every point except for the extra points in that game, correct, for William Jewell?
Yes, sir.
That's quite a feat to you did everything but kick extra points, it sounds like. So you had one heck of a day. Congratulations on your day.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
You bet. Tell me about your path from Mississippi to William Jewell.
I started out, from Belzoni, Mississippi. I attended Humphreys County High School. After high school, I went JUCO, Kahoma Community College. I left there and I attended Alcorn State University for a semester. It didn't work out there, so I left, found William Jewell, and I've been here ever since 2022.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about your career in high school.
In high school, I ran for over 1,300 yards. In my senior year, I had over 2,400 yards all purpose, was like 28 touchdowns. My largest game I had was 4 touchdowns and 311 rushing yards on 21 carries. So that was a record-breaking night for me as well, and that's how it went.
You just had to outdo yourself last weekend, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't expect it at all. I just went out there and played, and just I knew my team was leaning on me, so I just made plays where I could.
Excellent. Excellent. For our listeners, you are blessed to be a college athlete. And for our listeners that may not have been able to experience that life, tell us about the rigors of being a college student and a student athlete.
Okay, being a college student athlete is like the best of both worlds, because you got your different seasons, your in season, your off seasons, your fall camp, and it's all about how well you can manage and put things together. With schoolwork and everything, long as you're going to class, asking questions, just communicating with your teachers, I think they'll work with you fine. I mean, if you come in a freshman, you're not used to the college workload, it could be overwhelming. But if you just work and work with your teachers and communicate with them, and we also have like study table. If you're a freshman or a first year transfer at Jewel, we have study hall hours. You have to do like 3 hours a week. Um, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not too bad as long as you know what you're doing and just staying on top of everything. It has the best of both worlds because you're gonna make a lot of memories and you're gonna have a lot of memories in the classroom as well with the work. So.
Absolutely. Take us through, let's take today, for example. Take us
Mhm.
through your day to this point.
Okay, well, I'm a senior, so I had one class today, and I have an online course. So today I had a class. We had practice at 6 o'clock this morning. We had because we have a bye week this week, so we had an early morning practice. After practice, went got some breakfast, went to class, and that was it for the day. Really, today was a smooth day for me, and tomorrow I have one class as well, so it's pretty
Now,
smooth right now.
now in your off week, you have a bye week this weekend coming up. Do you guys change the tone in practice any, or is it business as usual?
It's still business. It's still business as usual. We're already game planning for next week. I mean, we watching film from last year. The team they're playing tonight, so we're gonna get film from them. We just gonna add on to what we've been doing, but we've been rolling full steam.
Good, good. I remember the days of film study, and I don't think people understand the hours and hours and hours that you have to put in on top of practice, on top of schoolwork, and things like that. And it's a job in
It's,
college.
yes, sir. It really is. We watch film every day from watching the opponents to critiquing ourselves from practice to and you have to just watch film on your own just to understand the game and understand what they're running and different coverages and different blitzes. So it's a lot of time you have to put in with the film.
Right. It's almost another major in college, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It really is.
So you guys compete in the Great Lakes Valley Conference, GLVC. Tell us a little bit about where William Jewell, where you feel like you kind of fall in the mix in a always very, very tough GLVC this year.
Last year we fell short. We only had 2 wins last year. We got a new coaching staff, and we've been working since the spring, from day one, since Coach Ambrose and his staff got up here. We just working. I feel like we're gonna be a top team in the conference this year. Because we working and we get everybody believing, and that's all we can do.
Yeah, Coach Ambrose, and it's kind of funny. He is a good friend of our show. When he was high school coach at Smithville,
Uh-huh.
he won a state championship up there. Had some very, very good teams. He would come on our show quite a bit throughout football season. So we're very familiar with Coach and have a lot of respect for him. And we know that he's running a class program up there at William Jewell.
Yes, sir.
Finally, last question: what is 5 years going to look like for Key McCullough 10 years down the road?
5 years from now, I hope I'm still playing football at the next level. That's what I plan on doing after this season. Yeah, so I'm running
Excellent.
touchdowns.
There you go. There you go. Still getting yards and getting those touchdowns. I love
Yes,
it.
sir.
Folks, we've been visiting with Key McCullough from William Jewell. And he, like we said, he had a career day. And Key, it's been a pleasure visiting with you. You're a great young man, and we wish you nothing but success down the road. And we look forward to following you. Hey, we want to see that 402 become 502 and get 6 TDs next time.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate y'all for having me here.
Absolutely. Hey, this is Darren Archer with On Deck with DeRo and Arch. We'll be right back after these messages.
Welcome back in. This is On Deck with DeRo and Arch. Hopefully you were able to tune in to the interview that Darren did with Key McCullough, running back from William Jewell. Darren, it seems like Key just sort of represented everything that's good about college athletes in that interview.
Absolutely. And if you listen to his story from traveling, starting off as a high school player in Mississippi to end up at William Jewell, pretty fascinating. And just his grasp of what college athletics is all about, not only being an athlete, but being a student athlete. And I was awfully impressed with Key. Seems like a very good young man, and was just a joy to interview.
Yeah, it was interesting. I really appreciated the way he sort of viewed life, and the fact that he sort of told us that everything was an opportunity, even the student life, which sometimes athletes sort of stereotypically get a bad rap for. He saw value in those classroom and student experiences apart from his role as an athlete and football player.
Well, and I think that's one of the reasons why you see him succeed on the field the way that he does. He has everything in perspective, and one thing that he mentioned that really stood out to me is the guys that he's in the trenches with, they're creating lifelong memories and lifelong friendships. And being a former college athlete many moons ago, hey, if there was a war to break out tomorrow, some of the first guys that I would call would be my college teammates to jump in the foxhole with me. So he really had things in perspective. Great young man, and not only is he going to be successful throughout the rest of the season, but he's going to be successful in life.
Yeah, and after interviewing him, they have a bye week this week, and next week they go to Kentucky Wesleyan, I believe. And after talking to him and hearing him, I want to check his stats every week now. I mean, that's just kind of the vibe he gave off, that you're automatically rooting for that guy. And so I'm excited to watch his progress through the year, and I hope the very best for him. I was really impressed with the way he handled that interview, and I hope he runs for 400 yards every week.
Absolutely. We try to be unbiased here, but we're Key McCullough fans, and we're gonna follow William Jewell. And like you said, they play Kentucky Wesleyan next week. That'll be a formidable opponent, and look forward to see how he fares, and not only next week, but in the always tough Great Lakes Valley Conference. But hey, this is On Deck with DeRo and Arch, and we're going to move on to a commercial break. When we return, we're going to talk volleyball and some other college sports. We'll look forward to seeing you right after these messages.
We believe banking should make your life greater. It starts with affordable options to meet today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. From smart account options that fit your style to flexible loans for what comes next. It means convenient ways to access and manage your money whenever you need it and wherever you're headed. Most of all, it takes great support. Someone you can count on for trusted guidance and to be there for you every step of the way. Great options, great convenience, great support for life. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters.
The Walnut Street Inn is located in the heart of Springfield on historic Walnut Street, just blocks away from the Missouri State Campus, Hammonds Field, Great Southern Arena, and downtown Springfield. The Walnut Street Inn features newly remodeled rooms, breakfast served daily, and a friendly, accommodating staff. The Walnut Street Inn is also a great venue for private events. Book your stay or get more information at walnutstreetinn.com or call 417-864-6346.
Welcome back. This is On Deck with DeRo and Arch. Hope you've enjoyed our show to this point. Interview with Key McCullough was certainly a highlight for me. I hope everybody out there enjoyed it. We're going to turn our attention to volleyball and maybe some soccer, a few other sports here that are going on in Missouri, and just hit some highlights there. There's some good things happening in the volleyball world, Darren.
Absolutely. And if all of our Division One schools had really good weekends. Most of them played in I don't want to say tournaments, but shootouts, so to speak, is what we call them in basketball lingo. And all of our Division One teams had a really good weekend this past weekend. And looking at the Division Two level, NCAA Division Two level, UMSL continues to roll. They're 4-0. They've played a very, very, very competitive schedule, and they're going to be the team in the state to really take a look at, along with Central Missouri out of the MIAA at the NCAA Division II levels. If you drop down into the NAI levels, there are a lot of solid teams at that level throughout the state. And DeRo, you took a look at some of those teams this weekend. What are your thoughts on volleyball at the NAI level?
Well, one of them that's sort of standing out is Central Methodist. They are undefeated. I believe it's 7-0. Nationally ranked coming in preseason, and I think they have an interesting matchup this week. I think it's Thursday. They play Oklahoma Wesleyan at Ottawa University, and Oklahoma Wesleyan at this time is 12-0. So it will be a matchup of two undefeated teams that were preseason ranked on a neutral floor. So I think we'll find out a lot about Central Methodist, and win or lose, it appears that they are destined for a really solid season.
Yeah, and Central Methodist is not the only show in the state as far as NAI volleyball. Park College has a really good program. They currently sit at 8-2 and have played a killer schedule up to this point. And Evangel is another program that year in and year out has a very strong program, and they are currently 9-1 on the season. Missouri Baptist, they've taken some on the chin, but they have played a tremendously tough schedule. And then College of the Ozarks, who was an NCCAA team last year, has moved up to the NAIA ranks, and they've always had a very competitive volleyball program. And with taking that leap up to the NAIA level, they currently sit at 5-2, and they're members of the Oklahoma Sooner Conference. So it'll be interesting to watch them as they move forward and get into conference play and see how they fare at that level.
Yeah, and it seems with as many teams, locally, when I say locally, statewide, they're probably just going to take turns beating up on each other a little bit. But yeah, it says something about the strength of NAIA volleyball here in Missouri.
Absolutely, and I think you hit the nail on the head. We have 4 different conferences represented at the NAI level. And a lot of those in-state schools that are in different conferences from each other are scheduled to play each other in the pre-conference section of the schedule. So, like you said, they're going to be beating up on each other, and I expect that when everything is settled and conference play has taken place, we'll have 3 or 4 teams in the NAIA national tournament.
Yeah, it appears that these programs are sort of built for the long haul, and once they get into conference play, and they're not just playing each other over and over, or sort of beating up on the other conference rival, so to speak. I think once they get into conference schedule, there's a chance for several programs to sort of level out and really put up some good win numbers as they get into conference play.
Absolutely. Columbia is another one. Columbia College. They year in and year out have a very good volleyball schedule. So it'll be interesting to see how things shake out, not only pre-conference wise, but then once conference play starts here in a week or two, um, watch everything start level off and see who rises to the top.
Yeah.
We also have just a bit of information on the soccer scene from around the state, and St. Louis University, out of obviously St. Louis, but in the NCAA Division One, both their men's and women's teams are ranked number 19 in the nation. And when you consider the history behind both programs, to have both nationally ranked at this point in time of the season is something special.
Yeah, and we mentioned it. We touched on this a little bit last week in terms of sort of the soccer culture in the Springfield metro, in the St. Louis metro area. A lot of culture there, a lot of tradition, very passionate soccer fans in the St. Louis metro area. So while it's not surprising that they're having success, it doesn't come easy on the national level. And for both their men's and women's programs to be nationally ranked at the D1 level is pretty impressive.
Absolutely. At the NCAA Division II level, on the men's side, another St. Louis school, UMSL, Missouri St. Louis, is ranked number 12 in the latest NCAA Division II polls. And then on the women's side, um, Central Missouri is ranked number 22, and Division III, another St. Louis school, Washington University is ranked number 2 in the nation. So
Wow.
St. Louis and the state very well represented throughout the NCAA polls, and we will get into a little more in depth in the weeks to come as far as soccer at the NAI level. We also have some very good junior college programs throughout the state that have soccer programs, and then the NCCAA levels as well. So a lot of things in store in the upcoming weeks, and we look forward to bringing you those stories. And DeRo, what else? Are you looking forward to coming up in the upcoming week?
Well, I think the continuation of the football season. Like I mentioned before, it seems a little bit like a transition time for teams. They kind of know who they are now or who they aren't, depending on your perspective. Their focus very much sort of shifts to a week by week opponent sort of study, and so the focus becomes outward more than inward, so to speak. I think there's going to be some great matchups coming up. You and I mentioned, and this is a ways away, and lots of things can happen, but that Central Missouri State, Pitt State Division II matchup that comes up, I believe, November the 2nd. That could be, a matchup that has national implications in terms of postseason and all those kinds of things. So I think the football season is sort of starting to take shape in a different way. So it'll be exciting to watch those teams. I really am interested in the MSU Lindenwood game. I think that's going to be a good game for both schools. They're both looking for a confidence day and to sort of get right, so to speak. So I think that's a big game for both schools. I'll be interested to watch that game. And then you referenced Mizzou, Boston College. That's going to be an interesting matchup in Columbia.
Yeah, I agree, and we will find out a lot more about Mizzou this coming weekend at Faroe Field. Hey, we're going to wrap it up right now. We appreciate everybody for following along and listening and viewing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. You can follow Missouri Sports Network at Missouri_sports, and also give our show at DeRo _on deck a follow to stay up with all the latest scores and news around the sports scenes here in Missouri. For Eric DeRossett, I'm Darren Archer. This has been On Deck with DeRo and Arch. We'll see you next
Thanks.
week.
Thanks for joining us.
This has been a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in.